an impromptu conversation with multiple-time world champion Dale Holmes.
Yeah, yeah. It's a live podcast.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Yeah, I need some content. I was hoping I could ask you a couple questions and I could put this up. I'm always on your podcast. I figure you'd be on mine.
Okay, what do you need?
Shoot. What do you need? You got it. World champions got it.
Is this? Are you taping this or?
I'm taping this. Of course, I'm taping this. Of course, as long as I have your permission. I know now you got to put on your professional voice.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me put my earphones on then. 1 second.
Oh, look at that. This is the Gold Medal Mindset, where we bring you all things winning in business, sport, and life. I'm Dr. Jason Richardson, pro BMX world champion and Pan Am Games gold medalist. Thanks for joining in. Get ready to mine for gold as we challenge your perception to change your results.
I'm here.
Okay.
Shoot.
Oh, wow. You put your headphones on. You got your mic. That's good. Now, I was actually walking out the door, and I have a dentist appointment. And I was thinking, I'm going to call Dale and just hit him up real quick and ask a few questions, and then I think that'll be enough.
You're going to ask an English person about the dentist? Don't we all have bad teeth?
No, I think the English and their dentistry, they've moved up in the world. I think they're ranked number 2 now, just behind the United States. So the dentistry is on its way. And actually, when I was at the Olympics in 2012 in England, in London, I went to the dentist because when you stay on the grounds, when you stay in the village, you have all these amenities available to you. So I went to the dentist.
I heard a few people did. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that's good. So real quick, who are you, Dale Holmes? How many world championship titles do you have?
How many do we count? Well, I guess two legit elite. Then you got one vet one. I guess that's half.
As far as the UCI, what the international cycling community counts, you have 1, 2. I remember both of them, and then you have an elite, a vet pro world title, which you're not counting. You're counting that as half because you were you were retired and won. You won a world championship in retirement. So that's how we do it here on the Gold Medal Mindset. We have people on the show that don't even count their world championship titles. That's only a half.
Yeah. 08 was vet.
So what are you doing now?
When I retired, I transitioned. My job at the time was with Free Agent, or my sponsor, into running the teams for those. So I set up a bunch of international teams. We had it was called the Free Agent World Team. I did that for many years. Sponsored Mary Strombergs. Actually, we brought him over after 08 when he won Beijing. Brought him over to the States, so I was involved in that, and being around Maris was cool. And then I transitioned into making my own team, which was we're just going into 4th year now anyway. So yeah, I have my own team, school program, YMCA program, and we're just moving into 2017, and going to have some new stuff that I'll be able to put out there in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and we don't have to get into the particulars, but the bottom line is you basically run your own team. You're basically doing the NASCAR thing, the car racing thing in the BMX bicycle world. You retired, you went on to run a team for another factory, another company, another brand, and then you decided to do your own thing. In the midst of that, you sponsored the current, at that time, Olympic gold medalist who went on to win it again, so 2-time Olympic medalist. And so it seems like you've had a lot of success with that. You did your own team. We've participated on a couple of projects. I with your wife and the Blue Apple Ranch and her nonprofit. That's been great fun speaking and working with that nonprofit. And then you as well with your Ride to End Obesity with the San Diego Unified School District. What's going on with that? How did you get BMX bikes in schools?
It was kind of an idea from my wife. She's pretty connected in the San Diego, in the school system, through the YMCAs. She has good relationships within the Ys, and she was already doing a YMCA program up at the Blue Apple Ranch. And then, she kind of came up with the idea, well, this would kind of probably work for BMX. It kind of came from that idea. We put together a program. We understand that, there's a awareness now in the schools on healthy eating, obesity. And we thought if we could maybe make a program that hits on that, but also introduces, these kids to BMX at the same time and kind of bundling together. And I think we've completed 3 years of that now and moving into the fourth, obviously with you, Jason, being involved, being one of the greatest speakers. I always say I'd rather you speak than me. You're just a good talker. But that program's really took off, and we're going to expand it again, moving forward into 2017. And it's a lot of fun, teaching some of the kids don't even know how to ride bikes. So, just out there doing the basic drills and introducing safety on the bike, and just giving them another option to get off their phones, get off the computers, get outside, get active, and do something healthy. And why not it be BMX? And
it has been fun. I'm actually looking forward to next year and getting in those schools and being loud and boisterous. It's been fun. So what makes you a great guest for the show is there's a lot of people who listen who are entrepreneurs, who maybe work in a cubicle, or maybe they're transitioning out of school or transitioning out of athletics. So it's nice to hear your story about a successful transition out of professional athletics and into something else, and that you're kind of forging your way by giving back, really. I mean, you're mentoring not only the members of, the people who you sponsor on your team, but you're also mentoring these younger people at these schools and able to pay the bills doing it. Living in San Diego, that's not cheap. But let's get down to brass tacks, because the people want to know. As you say on your show, the fans want to know. The fans want to know. So you've won 2 world championships. We've talked about it extensively because we've traveled the world together. But from a mindset perspective, because you've always said you weren't necessarily the best guy out there or the fastest guy out there, yet let's face it, you're in the British Cycling Hall of Fame, I think.
I guess so. Yeah.
I guess so.
It's kind of.
I love how it's so nonchalant. I think so.
It's more through the cycling people, not so much through the BMX. So yeah, I guess I'm in it, but I don't speak too much about it.
That's fine, but the point is, most people would never expect themselves to sit in any kind of Hall of Fame, right? So, and from a mindset perspective, yeah, you were a kid in England, rode a bike, you said, "Hey, I'm pretty good at this." You won your first world championship in your home country, 96, I believe. Made a spectacular pass to do so. Then you moved over to the U.S. and made a long go of it racing pro. But from a mindset perspective, again, like you said, you were never really the fastest or best at any one particular thing. Yet you've pulled out some big wins. And let's forget just even the world championship wins, just a lot of wins in your career in general.
Yeah, BMX was never easy for me, even as an amateur coming through the ranks in the UK, and I had definitely success, but every single, title win coming through there, it was always tough. I was never the biggest guy. I always had to maybe pass a few people here and there. But I just had so much, like all of us, we had so much passion for BMX. It's the only thing I thought about all day. All I wanted to do, during school and any other activity was be on my BMX bike, and I think when I finally, got to the track at the weekends, it was, I just wanted to win so much. I think as I transitioned into living in the US and being on the circuit there, I learned to be consistent. And yeah, just the will to win. And I studied my craft, you see the coaches and all the support they get from the national teams now with people showing them video and stuff. But in my time, I bought the video VCR tapes from every single race I could get hold of, whether that was some nationals from in America or the European rounds or the British nationals, which was selling. I would just study them, just watch them over and over. I'd watch them when I got out of bed. I'd watch them lunchtime. I'd come home from school and watch videos. I was on the bike thinking about it or watching video, and I think bundling all that together, just really helped my whole package as a overall rider,
So that's cool you said studied your craft, because I think a lot of people now, I don't think they really understand. I mean, I think intellectually they know what that means, but I don't think they really understand that on a deeper level. I mean, you were so, I'm not even going to say studied it, you were immersed in it, right? It wasn't even, I mean, it was almost like you had it in your blood.
Yeah, I did. Like I said, it's all I thought of. The Americans through the magazines. I think you guys were doing the same thing as well, but would read the magazines inside out. The top riders, whether they came to Europe or as much information that I could get at the time through them, I would just read over and over. The guys, I idolized, I looked up to, I would, and I think a lot of my friends, we all did the same thing, because a lot of us still talk about it now, or, the American guys, we knew everything about them, even the announcing on the races that they won, because we'd listened to it so many times. We could watch Eric Carter winning the 87 Worlds in Orlando, and I think I could do you could turn the sound down if we watched it on YouTube, and I could announce it for you, because I've watched it so many times. And I think a lot of people have got that same story, at least from our era. It was getting just as much information as you can, and using it in your own in your own package. I would even practice. It kind of sounds funny, but I would even practice putting my hands up over the finish line, pretending I was winning a race, when I'm doing sprints down the street, and just kind of visualize it. And say I've read and talked to other people that, got the same kind of story. And I've said it numerous times, but I think a lot of us have that the Rocky movie. A lot of that little, we took a lot of parts from that, and for the motivation, the training, the music with the training, just all things like that was all part of that growing period.
I had my Rocky moments for sure. I think, and that's an interesting take, because when you were talking about how you were living it and you were searching for it, the information. What are you eating right now? What?
No, my daughter's she's going through the candy. So it's the only way
That's cool. That's
the only way I can keep her quiet.
That's cool. Well, tell her I said hello. Tell her I said thanks for giving you the time to answer these few questions while I have my alarms going off, because people are going in and out of the door at my house. I actually decided to do it here. But so when you were talking about finding the information, it got me thinking about the kids nowadays, right? These millennials, these whomever, these younger kids, how they have so much information available to them, right? And we could argue that they know more than us, or they know as much. I would say more. They have more resources available, but yet there seems to be a difference, not just in BMX, but just in a lot of things. That seems to be a generational gap. I'm not going to say they don't have the grit. I think it just shows up differently. What do you think the difference is between, say, our generation and the ones coming up now? Even regardless of BMX, because you're in the schools now as well. But it seems like there is a difference, no?
Yeah, it seems like there's almost too much information out there. Everybody's got a shorter attention span. And you in our time, you'd get a book or a magazine, and you would really, zoom in and focus in on that. I think now the kids are just scrolling around, going from thing to thing, and maybe looking at a lot of things, and maybe not really homing in on anything. Whether that's sport, schoolwork, or everyday life. You just see like every kid's just kind of scrolling through the day.
Dang, hashtag scrolling through the day. Just at Starbucks, scrolling through my day.
And I know a lot of us are still, guilty of that as well. But sometimes you have to, check yourself, as I think is one of your words as well.
Yeah, well, that's from Ice Cube. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Right. And I try and take a step back sometimes, and, put the phone aside and kind of get back to some of the basic things we did, which was, reading a book, or actually sitting and watching a TV show without your phone in your hand or a computer in front of you, and actually paying attention to what's going on,
Yeah, I think that's, you nailed it, kind of scrolling through the day, which makes me think that maybe, there was less information available to you, but I think because of that, and because of the fact that you had to go out and find it, you valued it more. So
yeah, you can even go back to the trainers. We all had this conversation. It took me years to find a trainer, to find the right person. There's only certain people that even knew probably back then. And it took me years to find a guy that could actually hey, this is what I've got. I need your help, And maybe now if you want a trainer, you just hop on Facebook and, I think within 10 minutes you could have a choice of 20,
Right, but just because your trainer has abs doesn't mean you're going to go fast on the track, doesn't mean you're going to perform well at the next event, doesn't mean you're going to, that's a thing that I'm noticing even in the professional industry, I guess my industry. There's a lot of coaches out there, there's a lot of people developing, oh my gosh, click funnels and clickbait and all this stuff, and everyone's a coach and everyone's a speaker. And if you really burrow in on that, it's like, other than a great website and some cool shots that are probably filtered, what have you actually done? So that's kind of my rant, which is some. And I'm not saying that people who haven't necessarily done anything can't teach or can't coach, but let's face it. I mean, you won world championships, and then big surprise, you have riders on your team who happen to win. It's not a big surprise that I can even go back to my father. I have lots of stories about my dad on this show. Again, he's a successful contractor, and then lo and behold, he took my cousin under his wing, and what do you know? He's another successful contractor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where even though you may, I want to say, know the roadmap, there's these subtle little directions you can take a person if you've actually been through it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I say, I think it goes back to just maybe too much information out there right now,
So, all right, as you know, I know you've listened to at least a couple of these episodes. I have a few questions that I ask everyone. We're going to work this somewhat lightning round, but so I'm going to ask you a few questions. You can answer as quick or as slow as possible. Ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Of course you're ready. You're a pro. All right, what's winning to you?
Oh, winning to me is I just think that's the feeling you've done something,
Biggest win and biggest loss?
Oh, plenty of losses. Definitely the first World Championships, 96 in England. Definitely that's going to be the biggest win. Biggest loss? There's been a lot. I think I go back to the amateur days because it seemed just more, that you wanted it so bad back then as you're climbing the ranks. So I would say the 1986 World Championships in Slough in England, I really wanted to be in the main. I really wanted to have a shot at winning that. And, it went wrong and crashed out in the semi-final. That was pretty heartbreaking at the time as a 14-year-old guy. It's kind of my first time to race against the Americans. And I felt that, that I had a shot and, it didn't go right. So that one stung for quite a while.
Wow. So pretty interesting here. I'm going to segue a bit. So you, in 84, you missed out.
86.
Oh, I'm sorry, 86. And then 96. Yeah, you were 14 in 86, and then you were 24 in 96, right? My math correct?
Yes.
You won. And so for the people who love the 10,000 hour stuff, for the people, and so there's this theory, if you read the Talent Code or Malcolm Gladwell, there's this 10,000 hour rule, and basically roughly it works out to like 10 years. But it is interesting, we're 10 years later, back in England as a professional, 24 years old, you've been honing in on your craft, and then you win the world championship. So that is an interesting anomaly. I have kind of a same story, much like that, with my world champion win and then my subsequent world champion performance 10 years after that. So pretty cool how that works. All right. Biggest loss, you said, was 86, making it
86.
Only getting to the semifinal and just kind of missing that shot at glory, as it were. And those are long waits when you're a kid, huh? Between those events?
Well, again, like we go back to, I'd read about the Americans in the magazines, and they was a handful of them was there, and it was my first. I felt like I was ready. I was doing good in Europe. I was doing good in England. I was like, this is it. This is my time. I want to be on the world stage. And looking back now, I've seen the things I did wrong, and I should have done this and I should have done that. But anyway, that was that definitely stung. It was, and I had to wait many years before I had that shot again.
Yeah. Another question that just popped up. What was the difference? I mean, because I'm sure there was other people you grew up with who were maybe faster, better, just as good, cared about the sport, and were into it as much as you were. What do you think the difference was between your success and maybe them not having as much success?
I think it was down to just the desire and wanting to win.
You just wanted it more.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of we all wanted it, but I don't know. Like I said previously, I dreamt about it. I ate it. I slept it. I was at school thinking about it. It was, yeah, it was the only thing on my mind. So I think desire is a big word.
What do you think? Well, I'm gonna have to. Excuse me. I'm gonna have to edit this damn thing. Dang it! I was hoping to go straight through. Gold medal mindset advice for others.
What we did then still works today. Desire, hard work, put in the work. Study it. Get off your phone. Writing down your goals. Surround yourself with good people. Just get out there and make it happen.
I like that you said surround yourself with good people. There's a difference, and I want people to know there is a difference between surrounding yourself with good people, surrounding yourself with buddies, yes men. Everything you do is great, even though it's not. Because we essentially grew up in our young adult lives together, and you not only were you creating your team, looking for your trainer, and I know you worked with Dr.
Lewis Wong.
I know the people on your team at that time when you rode for GT Bicycles, they were super competitive. Sometimes you were friends, most of the time, but ultimately, I mean, it wasn't always easy, right? Because you were sharing the same rental car, you were going back to the same hotel after a race, and it was a challenging environment.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think there was definitely some good points to being, I was around Gary Ellis, Greg Romero, Danny Nelson, Charles Townsend, yourself for a little while. So many champions within their own, when all those guys won titles, world championship. But yeah, there was definitely that little rivalry thing at the same time, whether it was who could eat their breakfast first, who could be in the rental car, first down in the morning. We all wanted to beat each other. We didn't want to be there each day. We almost had a unspoke about rule. Everybody wanted to be the best guy in the rental car that day, and definitely not the guy that did the least maybe that day, So always that little rivalry between us all.
Yeah, so surrounding yourself around good people isn't necessarily just, yeah, bro, you did it. Yeah, you're awesome. You look great in those jeans. I mean, it's really having the courage to, and maybe you by default, but also like finding those people who will push back and say, oh, why are you doing it this way? Hey, you could take that jump better. You could go more inside on that corner, or why are you backing off? And that goes, forget just racing a bicycle. That goes for anything in life. So I love that you said that and you brought that up. So last question. What do you wish, because you work, you're in the schools now, you're running a team, you're working with a lot of people, and you're out in the world bringing big sponsorship in for your team as well. What is one thing you wish every human being knew?
Whew.
I know we go deep. We go deep on the gold medal mindset.
Yeah. I'm going to keep this basic. Be nice to each other. Treat people how you want to be treated yourself.
There we go. Golden rule on the gold medal mindset. And the funny thing is, that's the first time anyone's ever used the golden rule on the show. How you like them apples? All right. Well, I think that's it. That was a quick one. Dale, thanks for taking my call. Thanks for being on the show. Where can people find you, and how can they support you?
You can find me on so many different outlets now, isn't there? When is somebody going to make one social media that we can all be on the same thing? I'm waiting for that.
They're not. So you have to list them all. They'll be in my show notes as well.
All right. I'm Twitter, Dale Holmes 99, Instagram, Dale Holmes Racing. My website, my podcast website is daleholmes.com. iTunes now, High Low BMX Podcast. And for all my team stuff, I've got ridetoendobesity.com and daleholmesracing.com. So, yeah, quite a few there, but I think I kind of nailed it.
I'd like to, if you don't mind, burrow in a little bit more on the Ride to End Obesity program, because we have a lot of listeners who aren't necessarily bike people, but they definitely care about kids and school and making an impact, whether they have companies that want to make an impact or just looking for something to support that creates community. How can people support your Ride to End Obesity efforts?
Check us out online, ridetoendobesity.com. Any questions, feel free, reach out, drop us an email. And if you guys can do the same kind of thing wherever you are around the world, get kids on BMX bicycles and teach them good choices, healthy living, then I think it's a good thing no matter wherever you do it.
Well, I appreciate it, Dale Holmes. I guess we'll do a show pretty soon on the High Low BMX podcast. I'm sure that there's a lot to talk about with sponsorship changes, but I do appreciate you being on the show, and I appreciate you taking my call. And by the way, just so anyone knows, if they do want to reach him through Ride to End Obesity or DaleHolmes.com, he is one of the few people that actually answer the phone when he gets a phone call. So there you go.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Jason. And yeah, let's do a podcast next week. And yeah, look forward to listening to this one on your show.
Cool. Take care.
Thanks. See ya.
Thanks for taking the time to mine for gold on the Gold Medal Mindset podcast. Let's keep the conversation going on Twitter at RealDrJRich or on the web at drjasonrichardson.com. That's drjasonrichardson.com. Take care and have a great day.